I have tinnitus. I got it back during Desert Storm. We were pinned down by mortar fire along the border of a particularly hot zone for quick guerrilla skirmishes. A loud blast rocked my brain as it hit sandbags near us. As I regained my balance and the ringing in my ears began to settle in, I looked around for my squad mate, and I saw that he had taken the brunt of the explosion pretty bad. I ran over to him, screaming, "Johnny! Johnny!" As his face started to turn pale. He winced at me in the hot desert sun and said, "Yes, Papa?" He was delirious, but I had to assess his condition, so I asked him, "Eating shrapnel?" And the last words he said to me before the life faded from his eyes were, "No, Papa." The poor bastard didn't know what hit him. Neither did I. I was told his last words by the other men in my unit on the scene, because thanks to my newfound tinnitus, all I could hear was, That story is completely true. Well, the tinnitus part anyway, which I really do have. I've Googled ways to cure it every now and then on some nights that get particularly symptomatic, and realistically, I'm gonna live with it for the rest of my life, which is fine, because whenever anything late at night troubles me, I just take off my shirt. And I shine a phone camera on my torso, and I look at my muscles while I flex, and I mutter, yeah, dance for me. Yeah, I'm so fucking strong. I could pin down and skin a fucking lion with these. Oh, what's that, Mr. Tiger? You want to fight me for it? Prepare to get fucked. As of late, I've discovered something that helps ease the pain. And no, I didn't take countless years of desperately needed PTSD therapy that not a single government program centered around veteran affairs is ever going to pay for, but I'm referring to colored noise. And I don't mean the thing your grandpa complains about when his neighbors are being a little bit too loud. I'm sure nearly all of you out there are familiar with white noise. And for a handful of you, especially those who work with audio, what I'm about to talk about might be some pretty basic fundamental shit. But how many of you out there knew there was such a thing as black noise? How about red, pink, purple, green, or blue noise? And yes, there's even brown noise, which ties with me calling all of this basic shit, because that leads me to the brown note. Aside from white noise, the brown note is probably the most discussed item on the noise rainbow. Long story short, in 1989, a team of German scientists discovered a very specific frequency range between 5 and 9 hertz that, when oscillated to a certain interval, would agitate the human digestive system and cause people to, as they academically noted in their journal that I've taken the liberty of translating to English, spontaneously and involuntarily defecate. In layman's terms, the brown noise is a noise that makes you shit your pants whether you want to or not. So let's test it out. In 3 seconds, I'm gonna play the brown noise. Thankfully, I haven't eaten anything yet today, but I hope for your sake you're watching this video on the toilet thanks to the miracle of smartphones. Here we go! Did you shit yourself? Well, you shouldn't have. And if you did, you're either on the toilet, in need of a doctor, or one sick fuck. There's no such thing as the brown noise. Numerous scientific experiments, including one conducted by the men whose show is ruined by their editors dragging the whole thing out too much, the Mythbusters, have thoroughly debunked the brown noise's existence. The body's excretion functions just don't work like that. The only loud noise that's going to cause you to poop yourself is when you scream in defiance because your parents are locking up the PlayStation 5 until after you get your C- in math to at least a B. And you can do it. You're strong. I know you. You can do it. As someone who's 25 years old, you really shouldn't be shitting yourself in parental protest as often as you do. But I know you can get that grade up. But don't worry, there's an entire color spectrum of noise to cover, and we're gonna ride this rainbow hard enough to break its bow and plummet its corporeal light form to the ground so we can drink the delicious photons within it. Let's get the most well-known one out of the way. Just what the hell is white noise? Except for the obvious answer of complaints you hear when your local fast food restaurant runs out of Rick and Morty branded value meals. White noise is when you have noise playing at every portion of the spectrum of human hearing at equal volume. It sounds like this. Your brain has a really hard time comprehending all the shit that's actually going on in here, so you perceive it as a kind of hissing sound. We call it white noise because it functions much the same way white light does. White light is made up of the entire visible color spectrum. White noise is made up entirely of the audible sound spectrum. And white bread is made up of the entire regret spectrum from realizing you could have bought any other kind of tastier, more interesting bread. Now let's take white noise and play with it a little. Give it a little bit of a fucky-wucky with our frequencies and give the noise a lovely tint. White noise tends to sound more high-pitched and piercing thanks to the way our dumb human ears process sound. We tend to naturally amplify sounds in the higher pitches of hearing thanks to evolutionary reasons. It doesn't matter. What if we took white noise and tweaked it a bit to sound equally pleasant to our fragile meat antennas? Enter pink noise. Pink noise is if white noise was told to stop fucking around and get its act together. All the frequencies in pink noise are dampened in a way to make them sound more even to our odd way of audibly perceiving the world. Basically, the higher pitched you get, the lower the volume gets. If you're the type of being to run off a Pentium 4 processor or think talking to Wolfram Alpha is an exciting way to spend an afternoon, then this probably seems like madness to you. But to all of us trapped in our squishy flesh prisons, it makes sense, even though it shouldn't. Let's take a shit on pink noise and turn it into brown noise. Brown noise is the same concept, except now we're actually making the Occupy Wall Street movement accomplish something by killing off the high end of this society. Take the high-end dampening effect of pink noise and effectively double it, and you got brown noise, which obviously concentrates toward the lower end of the frequencies. Brown noise is actually officially named Brownian noise, and it has nothing to do with the color, because it's named after Robert Brown and his particle movement observations. But my lawyer has advised me to shut the fuck up about that guy, because while Brown may be in his name and his noise moniker, this technically isn't a colored noise discussion anymore, and I don't want to get sued for false advertising. Fortunately, brown noise is also known as red noise, which makes sense if you're following the whole noise waveform to light waveform analogy, since it's on the lowest part of the spectrum. And if you're really paying attention, you'll now realize that pink noise gets its name because of the fact it's halfway between white and red noise. But who am I kidding? None of you watching learned that. I'm probably on the second monitor right now while you browse TikTok or play some video game or share memes in your Discord call. Hey Siri, call Dad! Paying attention now, huh? Now pay attention to this next colored noise because it's blue noise and it sounds like this. Blue noise is just pink noise, but instead of decreasing the high end, you bitch slap the low end. Blue noise has a lot of practical applications in audio engineering and all sorts of other computer processes that are explained via articles that are literally thousands of words long, so I'm not even going to begin to explain what dithering is. Just know that it helps make your music sound really good. Now let's push ourselves to even further beyond blue noise. Let's push noise to the limits of what we thought possible. If blue noise is just pink noise flipped, well then what would happen if we flipped brown noise? Welcome to violet noise, or purple noise, which could potentially act as a remedy for people suffering from tinnitus. See, now we're back to what I introduced at the intro. I may take 10 years to get where I'm going, but I am the only channel that's going to take you on these infinitely perplexing adventures. When you've got a continuous squealing going on in your ears, you may think reproducing a similar sound in the real world is just asking for trouble. But violet noise can potentially mask the ringing going on in your ears since the frequencies are so similar. If you go to bed every night hearing the equivalent of a bat echolocating in search of your cochlea, give violet noise a try. Now let's get a bit crazy. Let's look at some non-conventional colored noise. Gray noise looks like this. And it sounds like this. It's similar to pink noise in that it tries to make white noise sound more even and flat to the human ear. Gray noise wants to be a bit more accurate by applying a specific curving function to white noise instead of decreasing it by a set amount every octave. Although, in a stupid twist of fate that probably proves there's no God, there is no one true gray noise, as noise perception is completely different from person to person. So what the fuck have you accomplished with your life, gray noise, you stupid fuck? Green noise is the middle tones of white noise, and that's about it. There's a lot of dumb new age hippies that are going to try to market this noise to you as being the most natural sound, or the average sound the earth makes. But don't believe the hype. It's just coincidentally where it sits on the noise spectrum, and if you ever believe a new age hippie in anything they say, I've got a list of alternative medicine death statistics for you to read. Orange noise is both glad I didn't say banana and it exists. Sounds like this. Not sure what you want me to do with this. That was my only orange joke. And finally, most perplexing of all, is black noise. Let's listen to some black noise. Okay, I'm kidding. Okay, here, I'm gonna actually play some black noise now, for real this time. Here we go. Did you hear anything? Well, you shouldn't have, because I didn't play anything that time. I actually played black noise the first time I said I was gonna play it, and I didn't play anything this time. Technically, black noise is in fact silence, because black noise is made entirely of sounds that are outside of our range of hearing. Black noise is probably the coolest of them all, because it also contains infrasounds. Sounds so low we can't hear them, but we can feel them. You know how when you listen to a particularly bassy song on a big subwoofer and you begin to shake because your neighbor's a giant asshole who likes to test out his new sound system at 1 in the morning? Now imagine that, except there's no noise, just the shaking. Infrasounds are often produced by earthquakes and volcanoes, and there's ongoing research right now to use them to predict natural disasters. Take that, green noise lovers, you goddamn flower children. Black noise is the most natural sound on earth. None of your bohemian peace, love, and middling frequency crap. This is a topic I knew almost nothing about until I stumbled on it randomly. And I think it's a great topic to throw at people in casual conversations who don't have a passing education in sound design, because it leads to a fun game of which noise is your favorite. People have their preferences. Check out the comments sections on any colored noise uploads. Everyone enjoys a different sound. White noise therapy is often used as a stress reliever, a sleep aid, and a focus enhancer. But now you've got a whole rainbow of noise to pick and choose from. Personally, my favorite is violet noise, because the only other thing that helps my tinnitus is when I completely forget I have it, which thankfully I'm really good at doing. Except right now, because I just reminded myself I have it. Fuck!